From BLC Studios in Mankato, Minnesota, this is the Maverick Hockey Live Podcast, presented by Dunkin. With your host, Shane Frederick.
This is the Maverick Hockey Live Podcast, presented by Dunkin. I'm Shane Frederick, I'm the host, and joining me this week are Minnesota State defenseman Wyatt Aamodt, he's the team captain, and junior defenseman Jake Livingstone. How are you guys doing today?
Good, Freddie. How are you?
Doing all right, thanks. Thanks for joining me. You guys are coming off of your CCHA semifinal victory over Northern Michigan on Saturday night and preparing this week for the CCHA championship, the Mason Cup championship game against Bemidji State on Saturday at the Mayo Clinic Health System Event Center in downtown Mankato. You guys got to be pretty fired up for preparing for this championship game, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's going to be a good crowd. I heard today that it was already sold out even. So for some of us that have played in that championship game against Bowling Green my freshman year, just kind of see the atmosphere and the intensity in a game like this. It's exciting. So I know a lot of us are looking forward to it. And it's exciting for these newer guys to kind of get in there and see that atmosphere as well, hosting a playoff game in our own rink.
Yeah, Jake, you're not really a new guy, but you're obviously newer than this guy, right?
Yeah.
What's going through your mind this week as you prepare for to play for a title?
I mean, it would be pretty cool. Last year we kind of missed on that opportunity after that loss in Northern. So, I mean, it's pretty cool. Obviously, that Bowling Green series, you hear a lot about it. So, kind of hoping to get in it and see the fans and hopefully they make that building kind of like a tornado in there, kind of get it rocking for sure.
Saturday against Northern, it kind of was a tornado. I think I described it as an onslaught. Just the way you guys scored goals. Clearly, you're not the same team as you were last year, but last year you lost to Northern in the semifinals in that kind of weird COVID weekend where you only had a few fans in the stands and played not your best game. I'm sure everybody kind of remembers that night, but you certainly went on and did well from there. But what went well in that game? Did you feel like you were flying right off the start?
Yeah, I thought, we came out a lot harder than against St. Thomas. We kind of snuck through with those two games that weekend, and I think we kind of regrouped, got back to our game, which we needed to do. I think all four lines played well, all the Euro well, and obviously Dryden, being himself, he was unbelievable. So I just thought we got back to our game, got back to our business, had a better start. That was big for us. And kind of just got rolling. Everyone built off each other. And like I said, going off that St. Thomas weekend, we knew we had to be better. And so I think it was a good weekend for our group to kind of get back on page and just play our game again.
Yeah, Jake, what did you think? You guys had that big second period, obviously, where you really broke the game open. I know they made it. They did get on the board there, and with the power play goal, and maybe that seemed to was that kind of a difference in the game there? Did you guys kind of turn it on from that point? Do you think?
I think we're kind of going right from the start there. We've been kind of emphasizing a lot on starts lately because I think we've had a few tough starts, especially against St. Thomas, and I give credit to our leadership group and kind of the whole team kind of getting to work last week and figuring it out that way. So,
you mentioned Dryden, Wyatt, and obviously almost every podcast, I think someone, whether it's me or one of the players or coaches, brings him up in his fantastic season and his fantastic career and goal. But the defense in front of him is certainly no slouch, and you two are a big part of that. You guys are defensive partners. And what is the secret to your success as defensemen? And don't just say the goaltender. I know that's a big part of it, but for the defensive crew themselves, the defensive core, for you guys, what is kind of the secret to your success? What makes you guys go?
I think it's just building off each other. Like Nada always says, and Coach Hastings, we recruit hockey players with good IQ. Just thinking with our being the whole time. And just kind of breaking pucks out is the biggest thing. The less time in the D zone, obviously, the better. So I think that's the biggest thing. Like I said, just building off each other. I've been fortunate enough to play with Livy this year, and I've learned a lot from him. Just, simple things that are just going to help us get out of our zone easier. So I think that's the biggest thing for all of us. We all learn off each other, and everyone brings their own, their own unique piece of the puzzle. So I think as an entire group, you've seen all 90, and all 90 of our just can play well. So I think that's been our biggest thing, our depth. You're never really worried when the group's out there, or pairing. So just spending less time in our D zone, breaking pucks out, got to credit our forwards that come back and help us out. they put themselves in good positions, we can get the puck to them. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just breaking pucks out well, building off each other, and always learning from each other as well. Because like I said, everyone's different in their own way, but I think that's what makes our group special back there.
Jake, what makes you two play well together? What in terms of defensive partners, what's kind of the key to that, and what works well for you guys, and what works well in general, and when two guys click in that spot?
I think we just kind of we're on the same page a lot of the time with like certain things, O zone, D zone, like neutral zone, stuff like that. We talk to, and we can both like kind of get at each other or be calm and have a conversation without it getting out of hand, because we both have a lot of respect for each other and like love for each other. So I think that really helps, and kind of just being on the same page is like knowing where guys are going to be, knowing what he's going to do, knowing like kind of like that stuff. So once you get to know each other, we played a little bit with each other last year. So we kind of got used to it, I guess, and kind of build off of this year, just kind of moving pucks. I think we break pucks out really well together and defend hard together. I think both of us take pride in defending hard. So I think we just work because we know what we want to do and how we want to do it.
Do you guys each have a different role to play in that spot, or is it one person? Are you kind of, one person picks up for the other one if one person, whether one person pinches or takes the puck, and, you've been known once in a while to, take the puck deep when you have to. Wyatt's got a hat trick this year.
It's been up to me. Yeah.
What up, son? What up, boy?
So, I mean, is it just a little bit of give and take and knowing what the other's doing, and also kind of holding yourself responsible for when someone else decides to go?
Yeah, I mean, I think it has a lot to do with just working as a unit. Like you said, like one pinches, the other one comes back. I've got to give credit to our forwards as well. A lot of them are very defensive-minded, which obviously they can score goals, but a lot of them are defensive-minded in a way that they'll support us as well and kind of have our backs if Wyatt jumps up or whatever, or when I do, they'll have our backs, so we're not just left stranded out there. We kind of have each other as well as the other three forwards that are with us.
You guys are such a veteran group of defensemen, but at the same time, you have they announced today, and by the time you listen to this, they may announce other WCHA awards, but they announced the all-rookie team today, and Bennett Zmolik made that. So one of your defensive teammates. I know he's been banged up lately, but he's certainly seemed to really come on as the season went on, and even when the lineup showed 7 forwards, it wasn't like someone was treated as an extra skater. They seemed to get regular shifts, or Bennett seemed to get a lot of regular shifts in that situation. Can you talk a little bit about what he's brought to the table this year for your group, and what and how he's improved as the season's gone on?
Yeah, like I said, when we dress 7D, which we've done a majority of the year, I think that's just kind of a credit to our how deep our entire decor is. But like I said, with Bennett stepping in and playing that role he has this year, he helped us a lot. Even going back in years past when we played 7D, that 7D isn't really getting a normal shift. But as you see with Bennett, he's always playing normal. He's either out there with McNeely or Carroll, myself, whoever. He's always out there. He's always had an impact on the game. He plays hard. He blocks shots. He breaks puck out well. He skates. I just think he's a good, solid all-around player, and he's one of those guys that'll do whatever it takes to win. He's a competitor. He wants to win. He's very selfless. So I think that's a big thing for him, why we always have him in the lineup and why he's always helping us. He can play in any situation. Like I said, some people might view him as a freshman, but I don't think he really plays like that. Like I said, he plays hard, intense. He'll do whatever it takes to win. So just got to tip my hat to his competitiveness. And, like I said, he's very selfless. So I think that's why he's been a good fit with us so far back there.
Kind of going through your roster, just to see who else would have been eligible for that. And you've had a few freshmen play here and there throughout the year, but for the most part, just really a veteran group, which might, even with your newcomers who have come in this season, whether they're transfers or what have you, really seems to be such a veteran team. You've been here for 4 years, Wyatt. I mean, what's it been like to see? Is this the most veteran team in terms of just what everybody brings and how you guys are able to conduct yourselves on a daily basis?
That's tough. Going back in all 4 years, I think we've had a deep group in general. This year we might have more seniors or, upperclassmen than past years, but I think teams in the past have also had that depth. But overall, yeah, I think that's, just kind of how this program's kind of grown and transitioned is just always having that deep team and the competitive atmosphere in practice, because that's how we're all going to get better. We're obviously all competitors. We want to do our best, but going against the best in practice, is only going to make you better. So I think that's a big test, all of us, just the mental side of it. For example, like Will Hillman, he might have not been getting the credit or playing much at the beginning of the year, but these past few games, he's been a big part of our success. So it's obviously really good to see him stick to it. He's a great kid, great teammate, and he's been really good for us those last 2 games. So, like I said, I think that's just kind of a test to our practice, the habits, he's gained and kind of learned from, some of those older forwards, just kind of the daily habits that he has to have to be successful. And I think it's just cool to see how it's rolled over and affected him these past 2 games, because like I said, he's been a big part of our success. He works hard, he plays really well, and I think Livy can, agree. Like I said, he's just, we're happy to see his recent success and proud of him for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd agree. Big time. Especially all the guys like that. Steve, too, not playing much on the back end, and then he comes in St. Thomas weekend. He plays really well, moves the puck well. And
Steve Bellini, right?
Yeah, and everybody kind of sees, like, hey, like, these guys can play, too, when they don't get the recognition that they do or they should. Because, I think all of us can attest. I think our practices are probably a lot harder than our games most times, which I think Coach takes pride in that, because he knows that he likes that and kind of prepares us for the games, which is good. So, yeah, I think just a lot of our freshmen and even sophomores, I guess, that are coming in and making impacts, like Grega scoring from last year. He wasn't in the lineup much, and he kind of played a big part this last week, and that whole line's been doing really well.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. Like you mentioned, Bellini and Hillman, 2 guys who, you're right, didn't get a lot of playing time throughout the year, and suddenly they get thrown in at an important time of the season, and they have to be ready to go. And that can't be easy for players. And I've talked to different guys throughout. Cade Borchardt's a great example of it, from his freshman year to now, not playing a lot as a freshman, and then being such a important player for you guys up front. But it just maybe goes to show what kind of preparation everybody is expected to do, because they don't know when their number is going to get called.
Yeah, absolutely. I think big part of here is kind of, a lot of guys will say they treat us like pros, and I think that in like a way of coming in when your opportunity is given and kind of taking the most of that opportunity, then it's kind of, I don't know, I think very pro-like, because a lot of us coming from college, or probably if we go pro or whatever, are not going to get many opportunities like I'd say first round draft picks or second round draft picks are going to get. So I think the more you learn to, succeed in those situations, the better off you'll be.
I'm not scrolling on my phone. For those of you who are watching online, looking at texts, I'm just want to make sure I have this right. But this week, Wyatt was named a finalist for the 2022 Derek Hines Unsung Hero Award by the Hockey Commissioners Association. So congratulations to you on being a finalist for that award.
Thank you.
It's a player who is a consummate team player and team builder. And so I said congratulations to you, but I'm going to throw it over to Livy here and say what makes Wyatt a person who should win this award, or should be a finalist for this award anyway, in your mind?
I'd say selflessness for sure. I think every day he kind of comes to the rink. He comes with a positive attitude. I'm kind of a grumpy old man sometimes, so to have him sitting next to me, or a D partner, he always comes with a positive attitude, and like everybody around him obviously enjoys being around him, and he kind of brings his best every day, works hard, works his tail off every day, and just likes to have fun. There's not a guy on our team that doesn't laugh when he says something either stupid or funny, but it's kind of one of those things where it's just, he just shows up every day, and it's kind of, like I said, practice is hard every day. Sometimes that's hard to do, and just kind of mentally being there for guys. A lot of guys on our team, I'm sure people have talked about it, like said mental health issues and stuff like that. I'm not saying a lot of guys on our team do, but I'm just saying I'm sure there's days where guys are like, I don't want to be here right now. But he's one of those guys that's kind of an everydayer, helps guys out. Always be somebody you can kind of go talk to if you're struggling with something. So that's kind of huge. When, especially as a captain, you need somebody like that on your team, and he's just kind of that open mind, and like everybody likes and enjoys talking to him.
Is that something you saw right away from him when you got to campus, when you showed up as part of this team? Yeah,
I think more so, less so. Something you figure out more is like you can go. He's easy to talk to, like more once you get to know somebody. But right away, you knew like he's a comedian sometimes. Like he's just funny, so you just kind of you warm up with him like that way more so than I can go talk to this guy. But you figure it out pretty quick.
When you hear, you're up for an award like this and someone says unsung hero, I mean, what does that mean in your mind? I mean, I know for a shot blocking defensive defenseman, they're often the unsung heroes of a team. So you kind of fit into that role that way, except for your hat trick night.
Yeah, I think, obviously it's a nice honor to be just mentioned in that conversation, but I think just think back to kind of the process and what helped me, even be up for that award. And I think a lot of that's, between kind of just being raised, I guess, right with my parents and just family and friends around to past leaders here. There's other people to learn from. Like I said, I always like to kind of go back to the past guys that I've, learned from in my time at Mankato, and, Nick Rivera, Reese, Max Cota. I think all those guys were Edwin Hookinson too, where all those type of guys are in the same situation where they might not have always been getting the credit for things, but, they're the guys that are doing everything right behind the scenes. They're, like Livy said, trying to be someone that's there to talk to, or just, if you need a ride somewhere, just simple things. I think the biggest thing is just kind of build off the experiences and, try to treat others how you like to be treated. Obviously, it sounds kind of cheesy and quirky there, but I think that's the big thing, is just kind of go back to reflecting and kind of seeing what other people have done for you and try to, do the same thing for others. Because obviously it means a lot to people. And like Levy said, our days aren't always easy. As student athletes, it's, overloading schedule, whether it's school, work, being at the rink. So I think I just like to control what I can control, just go to the rink, be a happy guy, positive, maybe joke around a little bit.
Sure.
But, at the end of the day, just like I say, control what I can control, go out there, work hard, and just kind of put my best foot forward every day and just try to help other guys build off that too.
When you're a captain of a team, and is it something that things can stay pretty steady for you throughout the year? Do things change? Do they get harder as you get down the stretch here? Do they get easier from a leadership standpoint? What is it like for you to kind of bear that load?
I think it's just been adjusting the whole year. Like I said, I've learned from great leaders in the past, and obviously having McNeely and Lutz kind of in the same position with me. I'll never say this is all a one person operation, because that's never the case. So those guys have done a great job being leaders and captains as well. Some other guys on our team, other juniors, seniors, they're good, great leaders too. So they take a lot of the load. So I've never, viewed that, a lot of this load is on one person in particular, because that's never the case with our program. But I think, it's just a learning process. I have a good relationship with Coach, and, we like to talk things through, or, he'll bounce some things off me or vice versa. I think that's the biggest thing is, I trust him. We all trust him, especially this leadership group. We all have good relationships with him. So I think that's the biggest thing, just kind of do a little subtle learning throughout the entire year. So when you get down to a time like this, we trust what we've built to this, this point. We just, like I said, try to put our best foot forward every day, because that's all we can really control right now. So I don't really think that the stress level goes up or anyone really views it like that. 'Cause, I think we're confident with the book we've been building our entire season. It's just time to, keep writing this chapter.
Let's talk about this weekend coming up. Playing the Beavers. You just played them a few weeks ago. You clinched the McNaughton Cup against them. They had the upset. They won in 3 games the first week. That wasn't an upset. They won at home, and then but against a good Bowling Green team, and then they went on the road and beat Michigan Tech, who I think a lot of people thought you'd probably be playing this weekend in 1-2, but the Beavers pulled off the upset. What do you guys have to do well this weekend? What do you on Saturday night? What areas are you trying to really concentrate on, Jake?
I think we just kind of, I'd say, stick back to our roots. Like he said, we got to get back to where we did against Northern. From the step we took from St. Thomas to Northern was big. I think we got to take another step this weekend, because we're facing even a better team. So we just got to stick back to our roots. A lot of things are sticks and bumps. Keep our inside ice, little things like that. So we just got to be physical, and I think things will go our way.
You've had a lot of success against them this year. I think it's almost been surprising. Usually your games are so close, but they went through a little bit of a bumpy patch, and now it seems like they're playing pretty good hockey again. Is that what you guys are seeing on tape?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, they they kind of went through some ups and downs during the season, but that also provides them an opportunity to kind of learn and look in the mirror and kind of what they got to do to be better. And I think they've done that. They're well coached. They have a veteran group over there. They have experience in the playoffs as well. So I think, obviously we have to respect what they've done and kind of those top, 3-5 guys they got. They're really good players. They can impact the game. So I think the biggest thing for us is just obviously knowing, when that group's on the ice, but I think just sticking to our game is going to be the big thing. Like Livy said, getting back there, kind of what made us successful against Northern, but we also, learned some different things about our group in that game as well. So kind of build off that Northern game and just come into this weekend against Bemidji, just playing our best. Use what we've done all year. Use the crowd, try to get them into it early, and just take advantage of having that home ice, because it's obviously a long, hard thing to do throughout the year. To, be in this position, playing at home. So I think just getting on them early and kind of dictating our pace in our game, trying to put a little, sprinkle a little bit of doubt on that seed over there that we've had some success throughout the year. But I think that this is a whole new game. Like everyone says, it's playoffs, it's a new season, it's a one game thing, so anything can happen.
This is going to be your last home game, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. I was actually thinking about that the other day before we played Northern. It's like, well, if things don't go well, just remember that this is the last home game. Try to take it in. So I think our group, our class, including lots of McNeil, I've done some special things here in Mankato. With just the entire group had a lot of success at home. So I think the biggest thing is just go out on a high note. Take advantage of, like I said, earning that home ice in this situation, but. End of the day, just take it all in, because obviously this is a very special place, and we've enjoyed playing there. So I think that's the big thing for us, just go out on the high note, win at home, and just enjoy the whole process of it.
You got to win one for those guys in their last game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just got to take advantage of our opportunity. Don't take it for granted, for sure. Just kind of on to the next.
Do you have a particular game or memory that stands out at the Civic Center and the Mankato, the Mayo Clinic Health System Event Center? It's such a mouthful. It needs a good nickname.
Your tongue twister there. I don't know. Obviously, that Bowling Green game that I mentioned earlier is a highlight for a lot of us.
Yeah.
That's one. I also thought it was pretty cool just to be a part of the different handful of records Stratton's been setting, and a lot of those have been at home. Mm-hmm. I think just the cool thing about that, like I said, seeing the excitement from the entire community, everyone at the rink, and the guys for Drido. I think that's been pretty cool just to experience, with the teammate, obviously the same class, live together and everything. So that's been cool for me, just kind of be a part of it in a way, but at the same time, it's, all about him in that situation in a way. So I think that's just been cool for us to kind of take that in and be along for the ride with him in those home games.
Yeah, I continue to be amazed at the games I've been to this year where, there's definitely a little bit more of an applause and a cheer, a louder one for him for Dryden when
it's the worst feeling in the world when you're starting lineup and you go right after Dryden McKay. Goes from loud to
yeah.
And did they say you before Wyatt?
No, usually they'd say him, but usually I always make fun of Akito for this because he goes right after Dryden.
Yeah,
and they usually start. And it's just so loud, and then Keto goes, and it's still loud, but it's just not the same. Like
he's in a different room.
Yeah.
Someone's opening and closing the door after Drido.
Yeah.
They're pulling out their flyers to see who Akito is.
Yeah. Everybody knows.
Who's this two guys?
Yeah.
It's so not fair.
Yeah. Seriously. That's what we say. It's just not fair.
He's earned it.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah, it's really kind of blown me away to hear that, and I mean, it just goes to show like how what his career has been like here and what he's done, and pretty amazing. I'm sure it's pretty amazing to play in front of him too.
Absolutely, and like Coach Ptolemy said from Northern the other night, he just wanted to make a point of it. He's arguably the best player in college hockey, and some people like said obviously we've had good defensive groups ahead of him, but you also got to watch the games that he steals and, what he does to, keep us in games and give us that opportunity to kind of take a lead or manage a different team's push. Because, like Coach said or Ptolemy said, it's people don't really realize how he affects a game and, us as a group ahead of him. Even there's times obviously where mistakes are made and you feel a lot more comfortable when you got Dryden back there. It's kind of, he's been our rock all year and, all 4 years he's been here. I think he's had a big impact on this program and our success. All that doesn't happen without having him back there. So I think, more people actually do have to understand how good he is and what he's done for this program.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I think a lot of times because of the number of shots you guys give up and how much your team possesses pucks compared to your opponents, oftentimes I think people kind of look at maybe where his support system has come from rather than the other way around. And I'm not saying they discredit him for that, but certainly they don't see him stealing games. They don't see those moments. They don't see those, big save, or that big number of saves type of game. But on the flip side of it, he's doing some things that make you guys either more comfortable in the way you play, I would think, and knowing that he's back there. But it might not show up quite the same way as those other numbers. Jake.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Drado too, a lot of people can say, "Oh, like if you got 9 shots in a game," but imagine playing 5 shifts in a game when we usually play 30. Like to get a rhythm and to stay into the game and be that, like, I don't know, just attentive, I guess, and kind of paying attention to everything that's going on, and then still make a breakaway save, like the shorthanded one he did. It's just kind of impressive. Like, I don't know, he's just the man. I call him my G. So he's just the man. I don't know. There's really nothing else you can say about him. He's just the man.
I mean, prime example of him, stealing a game. I shouldn't say stealing a game, but keeping us in it when we were at Tech. Mm-hmm. I think it was Saturday night. We were on the kill with, 4 or 5 minutes left. Somehow it got some weird bounce off the glass, and I had no idea where the puck is. Olivia had no idea where it was. Yeah. And all of a sudden it pops up together in the slot, and, and somehow he's there. He's just always in the right position. Like Livy said, some people might, maybe knock on him for being shorter or smaller, but the thing with him is he's always so positionally sound that he's there even when you don't think he should be.
He looks so big, even though he may not be.
Yeah, I heard. I watched a game. You guys were on the road, and the announcer talked about how big they thought he was, and then went to the program and saw what he's listed at, and said, oh, "Wait a second, that doesn't seem right. He looks so much bigger out there." Yeah. But
it's a good thing. Play big. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
Well, this is an exciting time of the year. People are pretty excited to see you guys play. Like Wyatt said, it's going to be a sellout or close to, or get your tickets now for standing room only spots to watch the game. I'm always excited when there's a game like that here, and there hasn't been one for a couple years because of after you guys got knocked out last year, and obviously the COVID year before that. So it'll be fun to have a championship on the line this weekend. Best of luck to you guys against the Beavers and going forward.
Thank you, Freddie. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having us on.
It's exciting to be able to obviously host this with the community and get the fans and all that there. So everyone's worked hard for it and supported, Maverick hockey throughout the last couple of years. So it's just exciting to be able to provide this opportunity for them. We're just trying to make the most of it and take advantage of using our own crowd there.
All right, and this is for the Mason Cup. Everybody remember now that it's the CCHA, and the old CCHA championship trophy was the Mason Cup, named after Ron Mason, the longtime coach of Michigan State and elsewhere. And that's going to be a new trophy that the Mavericks hope will be in their trophy case after this weekend. So we'll get a chance to see that. So thanks again for having me on. Jake Livingstone, Wyatt Aamodt. I'm Shane Frederick. We'll talk to you next time.